Everyone's heard of Omega, from watch collectors to regular people alike. It may not hold the same market equity as, let's say, Rolex, but it's a brand that you can rely on for quality luxury watches. On the other hand, Grand Seiko may not be as well known to the general public, but it's a watch brand that's been growing to take the watch market by storm. Hey, what's up you guys? Ben here. Today, I'll be pitting the Omega Aquaterra against the Grand Seiko SBGM 221. Both watches provide excellent values for the money, and both watches are around the same price tier. I know these two watches are different functionally, but today I'll be comparing them more as driving or work watches, basically occasions that don't involve a lot of water. The Aquaterra is a sports watch that also happens to work well as a dress watch, while the SBGM 221 is a dress watch that also happens to work well as a sports watch. So they're kinda opposites, but they're two parts of the same coin. And what I'm trying to say is they're both really versatile. The Aquaterra's strengths are its robust nature, from its magnetic resistance to its water resistance, while the SBGM 221 really shines with its articulate level of finishing. Both Omega and Grand Seiko are amazing watches, but not as amazing as you clicking that subscribe button and leaving me a thumbs up, because there's a lot more watch content heading your way. Anyway, in the comparison today, I'll be comparing the specs, the wearability, the versatility, the finishing, and the status. Without a doubt, both watches are excellent candidates to fill the void of your empty wrist. They both can serve duty as daily watches, and I can testify. But on paper at least, the Aquaterra is far superior to that of the Grand Seiko. It has a water resistance rating of 150 meters and is anti-magnetic of up to 15,000 gauss, while the SBGM doesn't even come close at 30 meters of water resistance rating and an inferior magnetic resistance. The Aquaterra also has lume, while the SBGM, there's none. But don't get it wrong, unless you're someone who's perpetually going out on outdoor expeditions, this Grand Seiko is more than robust enough to carry out its duty as a timepiece. Plus, the SBGM 221 has a GMT dual time function that the Aquaterra does not. Despite its functional shortcomings, there's just something about this Grand Seiko that really makes you look at it twice. I can only speak for myself, but I don't usually go around submerging myself in water or spend too much time in areas of such high magnetic fields that it'll ruin my watch, or even find myself in dark places where my phone is unavailable to show me the time. So if you strip away the intended functions of the Aquaterra and look at these watches for what they are, pieces of luxury art that you appreciate, the playing field has suddenly evened out. The Aquaterra is 41mm in diameter, 47mm from lug to lug, and 13.2mm in thickness. But despite the 41mm sizing, the Aquaterra wears more like a 40 due to its compact lug to lug. The SBGM 221 is 39.5mm in diameter, 46.5mm from lug to lug, and 13.7mm in thickness. I know the 13.7mm of thickness I just mentioned might have raised some eyebrows, but keep in mind that the Seiko has a domed sapphire crystal that takes up about 1 to 2mm, and its thickness has never been an issue for me personally. The Aquaterra obviously takes a more physical surface area of your wrist, but the fact that it fits a little bit slimmer than the Grand Seiko allows for both watches to give off about the same wrist presence. Both watches are in the same ballpark in terms of comfort, although my particular Aquaterra edges out the Grand Seiko by a slight margin, thanks to its rubber strap. I'd imagine if you had your Aquaterra on a leather strap, which would be a more fair comparison, the comfort levels of these watches would be more or less the same. Since I don't have the leather strap for the Omega, I'm not going to be comparing the straps, but the deploying buckles on the other hand is fair game. The Grand Seiko has a ever so slight edge with the finishing, but the Omega still looks nice. In terms of the tactile feeling, the Aquaterra feels more secure and sturdy, so the Omega has a better deploying buckle. Both the Aquaterra and the SBGM 221 are versatile enough to be daily drivers, but it wouldn't be fun if we didn't dig a little deeper. Even though the SBGM 221 is part of the dressy elegance collection, it still shines as a suitable pseudo-sports watch that you can match with more casual outfits. This is due to its above average thickness, but more importantly, due to the fact that it's such a strap monster. Its well-executed design plus the creamy ivory dial means that the watch can look good with just about any color or texture of leather straps. If you want to see it for yourself, you can easily look up hundreds of different strap combos on Instagram. On the other hand, the Aquaterra is not as compatible with different straps as a Grand Seiko is, but you know the saying, if it's not broken, why fix it? Well, I have this Aquaterra on factory rubber, and believe me when I say, it goes with practically everything. I've worn this with joggers, all the way to a suit. Plus, due to its robust specs, you'll be able to wear it to the pool and even near an MRI machine. With the SBGM 221, you won't be able to. So ultimately, on a numerical versatility scale from 1 to 10, I'd rate the SBGM 221 a solid 9 and the Aquaterra a 10. The Aquaterra has a very sophisticated finishing. In the case, the finishing alternates from polished to satin, and the lyre style lugs add an extra flair. But despite all of Aquaterra's muscles, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to award the win to the Grand Seiko, and let me explain. Yes, the Zaratsu polishing of the Grand Seiko is very impressive, but that's not the only factor in contention. It's really the little attention to details that Grand Seiko does so well that it gives an edge. I mean, just look at it, from the case to the hour markers and hands. Everything is so well finished, and don't get me wrong, the Aquaterra is still excellent, but it's just a tier below the Grand Seiko. In terms of the movement finish, it's a similar story. The Aquaterra is excellent, but the SBGM 221 holds the slight edge. In terms of accuracy, Omega on paper should be superior, but in practice, they're about the same. In the past 10 years, Grand Seiko has accomplished what other brands have failed to do. It's been building up such a loyal legion of satisfied followers, and the popularity of their watches have exploded. Popular Grand Seiko watches not only hold their value, but also have been going up in value as well. Grand Seiko should be proud of their accomplishments, but despite all they've done, their brand perception is frankly still beneath Omega. Omega is probably the second most recognized luxury watch brand after Rolex by the general public. And it's no question that Omega has some of the richest heritage in watchmaking history, from the Speedmaster being the first watch worn in the moon, all the way to the Seamaster featuring in the James Bond film. Grand Seiko is for sure creeping up to the brand perception levels of Rolex and Omega, but it's still got ways to go. This was really a tough battle. The two watches are so different, yet they share such a big common ground as potential daily drivers. The Aquaterra provides better versatility and brand perception, while the SBGM 221 provides a more artistic value with lots of fun to be had with its strap swappability. If I could only choose one out of the two, to be honest, it would all depend on my mood. They're both fantastic watches, and it's hard to go wrong with either. The answer to who wins isn't as black and white as you'd hope. When it comes to functionality, the Aquaterra wins no contest. But when it comes to attention to detail and finishing, the Grand Seiko wins. It's really difficult choosing a winner, so I'm gonna have to say it's a tie. If you live a life that's more formal and you value artistry, go with the SBGM 221. But if you live a life that's more sporty and you value greater versatility, go with the Aquaterra. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who wins this comparison in your opinion, the Omega or the Grand Seiko? As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.